Hey everyone, hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you all of my nonfiction books that live on the shelves right here. It's kind of an awkward, I'm going to move to the side so I can, show you what's living back here. And my purpose today is to get my hands on all of these books. Most of them are unread, or I have set them aside. I started reading them, I set them aside. And yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I like doing this, and I'll get to them in the meat of the video. But for now, just know that we're going through a bunch of historical fiction books. So if that's your thing, or if you have a lot of opinions about historical fiction books, or if you just love to read books and talk about them, then you have made it to the right spot, because I love that too. If you don't know who I am, then hi, I'm Shelly, and I love reading books and talking about them, because half of the fun of reading a book is talking about it and dissecting it and figuring out what's going on with the book. If that's also your thing, I would encourage you to subscribe, stick around, and without any further rambling on, let's go ahead and get into the meat of this video. I've scooched to the side because all of the books that I'm going to be talking about are here, and I have a feeling that some of these are going to be misfiled. I have a feeling that we're going to go on a journey, and I'm going to be trying to figure out maybe a way to organize them a little more specifically than historical fiction. That's all that these are here. Some of them I'm just assuming that they are historical fiction. I don't really know. Also, I don't know why I put historical fiction in quotations. Maybe because I don't have a working definition for historical fiction. Some people say if it's 50 years old or older, then it's considered historical fiction. I don't know. I have just books here, there, and everywhere. Now, one of the reasons why I love doing this is because I do love videos about process. As I'm figuring out where things should go and how I'm going to organize things, I actually think that that's really helpful. I like videos like that, so, I make videos that I also like to watch. I make videos based off of things that I enjoy watching. That's what I meant to say. And I enjoy watching those kinds of videos. So I'm adding this to my repertoire of things that I come to you and talk to you all about. It also helps me cultivate an attitude of gratitude. It helps me appreciate all of the books that I have. And the consequence of cultivating an attitude of gratitude is that I don't really want to buy anything. I realize that I have so many unread books on my shelves that inspire me, that I'm excited about, that I want to get to. And it also, so in addition to not wanting to buy anything, it helps me want to pick up what I actually already own, because I have so many wonderful books in my collection. Read and unread, vast majority, if not all of these books are basically unread. Yeah, and here's what I want from you. I want you to be cheerleaders of these books. If I own a book that you love, that you were excited about, that you've heard great things about, can you let me know in the comments down below? Because I think I need a little bit of excitement about the books that I already own. And so if you were like, I read that, or also if the opposite is true, if you read it and you thought it was atrocious, let me know that down below. It helps me get to know my collection better. Believe it or not, but though you should believe it. When I read comments about a book, I remember it. It like permeates my consciousness. It sticks with me, and I carry that with me. And that sort of is your voice in a comment. Tends to follow me into the way that I interact with the book, the way that I think about the book. So let's see, without any further rambling on, let's go ahead and get into, let's go ahead. What am I going to say? I already said, let's go. We are in the meat of the video, Shelly. This has been happening a lot. I am losing my train of thought, and I'm feeling really good today, probably because I had a really great night's sleep. However, I think it's happening because I just have a lot on my plate. Many of you know that I'm going through a transition in my life, and so I just tend to feel like I've lost the bearings of my brain, but that's okay. So we're gonna just get started. I don't want to start here, actually. I started with the stack behind me, and actually I'm gonna move this that crayon artwork. It was here before we actually moved in. And I've never done anything to correct it or cover it up. It was covered up when we toured the house, and then when the previous owners moved out, we realized that somebody created a little artwork on the wall, and I've never like tried to repaint or anything. So, yeah, so it's not like a shame thing for me, like I let my children draw on the walls or anything like that. It's, you know, it's actually something that, I don't know, I kind of find it cute and delightful, even though it's considered an imperfection. Marguerite Yourcenar. Okay, I bought this before Classics and Company, which is a book club ran by Micah. Everyone I mention, I'm going to link down below, and if I mention them, it means that I like their channel because they've influenced me in some way, and yeah. So this book, I bought this before Micah Cummins and Ann Novella added it to their book club. I bought it because Jennifer Brooks. Okay, I'm just realizing now, maybe I shouldn't do this. Like, I shouldn't mention every single person because then I feel like I'm excluding y'all. We are a community here, so if you don't know these people, get to know them because they're fantastic. So I bought this because of the channel, because of Jennifer at the channel Jennifer Brooks. She was saying that based on what she was saying about this book is that it was the most beautifully written, the most just gorgeous, dripping, honey, sweet, amazing language on the page. Some of the most beautiful language that she's ever experienced in her life. And of course I was like, oh my gosh, I must have that in my life. And then it was picked for Classics and Company to be one of their book club choices. And I was like, I'm definitely going to read it then. And then I didn't. I just haven't. Even though all signs are pointing towards go, you know, there's all these gentle encouragements for me to pick it up. It's one that I would like to read. I've even read the beginning and was like very pulled in by it. So, you know, if you've read this, let me know. I know David Novak reads poetry. One of my subscribers and another creator here on YouTube read this and has a whole review about it, and I really enjoyed listening to his thoughts about it, so I will leave that link down below. I cannot spend this much time on a single book. I cannot. So maybe, I wonder if I should start, okay, really, oh y'all, okay, I'm really putting y'all through the ringer. Maybe I will start by doing a pile of, maybe I'll see how many ancient Greek retellings or like ancient retellings I have, but this would be an ancient retelling. John Galsworthy, this Forsyth saga. So this is three novels about the commercial upper middle class, the Forsyth family, and it's set between 1886 and 1920, but I don't even know when this was written. This was actually written, John Galsworthy lived, according to the information page inside, he lived from 1867 to 1933. So this is actually set during his lifetime. So I think this is actually misfiled. This would be under Classics, I think, which is just the shelf over. So I'm going to set this aside and it will be put in my Classics pile. Margaret Atwood's The Blind Assassin. If you all have followed me for a little bit, I recently read her book Alias Grace, and you know, like, the writing was very beautiful. I just didn't get what I entered the book thinking I was going to get. And I kind of got a sort of odd comment about it recently. I don't hardly ever get mean comments on my channel, and when I do, I just laugh because I'm like, you clearly don't know the vibe over here. But anyways, someone took offense that I, you know, went into Alias Grace with the wrong mindset, and so I laughed about it. But anyways, because of that experience with Alias Grace, I didn't even know if I wanted to continue reading Margaret Atwood. But I do have this, The Blind Assassin, and my friend Fraser said he really loved it. But now I'm thinking that this should be filed under, not historical fiction, but under something else. Let me see what this is about. This is what the back says. The Blind Assassin opens with these simple, resonant words. 10 days after the war ended, my sister Laura drove a car off a bridge. They are spoken by Iris Chase Griffin, sole surviving descendant of a once rich and influential Ontario family whose terse account of her sister's death in 1945 is followed by an inquest report proclaiming the death accidental. But just as the reader expects to settle into Laura's story, Atwood introduces a novel within a novel entitled The Blind Assassin. It is a science fiction story improvised by two unnamed lovers who met in dingy backstreet rooms. When we return to Iris, it is through a 1947 newspaper article announcing the discovery of a sailboat carrying the dead body of her husband, a distinguished industrialist. Okay, so I think I have, again, misfiled this, so maybe this should be under science fiction fantasy, which I think that would, I think that I'm more likely to pick this up if I'm in a science fiction fantasy mood than I would be if I was in a historical fiction mood, because I think the vibes, considering the way that it's structured and that there's a novel within a novel, and that novel is science fiction, that I think it will more suit me when I'm in the mood for that kind of read. And so I'm actually gonna refile this under science fiction fantasy. Okay, so here we have The Devil's Arithmetic. So Hannah dreads going to her family's Passover Seder. Her relatives always tell the same stories, and Hannah's tired of hearing them talk about the past. But when she opens the front door to symbolically welcome the prophet Elijah, she's transported to a Polish village in the year 1942, in which I believe she'll relive some of what it was like to live through the Holocaust. Again, that's like fantasy science fiction, but I know that trope is there to tell a historical story. Should I refile them? This is so hard. I think this would be historical fiction, even though they're using a sort of travel to the past trope in order to achieve the historical fiction story that Yolin is trying to tell. So, maybe, I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to set this aside and we'll figure out piles later because this is taking too long. I have Commonwealth by Anne Patchett. Many Anne Patchett books. Okay, so one Sunday afternoon in Southern California, Bert Cousins shows up at Franny Keating's christening party uninvited. Before evening falls, he has kissed Franny's mother, Beverly, thus setting in motion the dissolution of their marriages and the joining of two families. Spanning 5 decades, Commonwealth explores how this chance encounter reverberates through the lives of the 4 parents and 6 children involved. Spending summers together in Virginia, the Keating and Cousins children forge a lasting bond based on a shared disillusionment with their parents and the strange and genuine affection that grows between them. Okay, is this more contemporary fiction? I don't know. I'm not doing very well making piles and choices, so I'm just gonna set this aside and I'll figure it out in a minute. All right, I have The English Patient by Michael Ondaatje. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's gonna be one of those videos where I pronounce everyone's name wrong, and it's gonna be fine. Okay, so this is with ravishing beauty and unsettling intelligence. Ondaatje's Booker Prize winning novel traces the intersection of 4 damaged lives in an Italian villa at the end of World War II. Okay, so at least that gives us a setting. I think that's what I'm trying to figure out. Slowly, the haze is lifting, and I'm trying to figure out when these are set and if there is common themes if there are common themes among my collection. So this is how it starts. She stands up in the garden where she has been working and looks into the distance. She has sensed a shift in the weather. There's another gust of wind, a buckle of noise in the air, and the tall cypresses sway. She turns and moves uphill towards the house, climbing over a low wall, feeling the first drops of rain on her bare arms. So, World War II. I have something for World War II, so that's great. All right, The Macchiacca Sisters by Junichiro Tanizaki. Junichiro Tanizaki. All right, so this is in Osaka in the years immediately following World War II. Okay, great. World War II novel again. Actually, I don't know when this was published, so maybe this is just a classic. Don't No. I don't think this is, I think this is just a classic at this point. It's like 100 years old. It's coming up on 100 years old. And it was set in contemporary times. I mean, for the time of the writer. This is translated by Edward G. Seidensticker. Great name. Yes, this was first published in the 50s. And if we're following World War II, I mean, it was in the very, near past. And so we're gonna just, this is again misfiled. I think this is a classic, not historical fiction novel. All right, next I have Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. I've been meaning to read a Sarah Waters book for ages, and I feel like she would definitely be the author for me. This is, let's think. I don't know what this is about. Okay, let's see how this starts. Maybe that will give me, the back is only blurbs. I mean, if I have to, I will look it up online, but I'd rather not. So my name in those days was Susan Trinder. Oh, my name in those days was Susan Trinder. Curious. People called me Sue. I know the year I was born in, but for many years I did not know the date. I took my birthday at Christmas. I believe I am an orphan. My mother I know is dead, but I never saw her. She was nothing to me. I was Mrs. Suxby's child, if I was anyone's. And for father, I had Mr. Ibbs, who kept the locksmith's shop at Lant Street in the Borough near the Thames. Okay, I think most of her books are set during Victorian times, so I'm going to maybe put it under like Victorian historical fiction. We'll see. We will just see. I'm just gonna set this. I'm trying to make all these decisions now, and I'm doing a terrible job. I'm doing a terrible job of that. All right, then I have Pope Joan by Donna Woolfolk Cross. And this is, for 1,000 years, her existence has been denied. Pope Joan, the woman who distinguishes herself as a man and rose to rule Christianity. Now this compelling novel animates the legend with a portrait of an unforgettable woman who struggles against restrictions her soul cannot accept. All right, so this is, I want to be like, this is ancient times, but it's really not. I wonder if I could start a pile of retellings of individual characters in history. So this would be like Pope Joan, and then Hadrian, for the memoirs of Hadrian. Let's think. And then I have this, The Passion, which I believe it's by Jeanette Winterson, which is about Napoleon, I believe. Set during the tumultuous years of the Napoleonic Wars, The Passion intertwines the destinies of two remarkable people. Henry, the simple French soldier who follows Napoleon from glory to Russian ruin, and Villanelle, the red-haired, web-footed daughter of a Venetian boatman whose husband has gambled away her heart. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't actually think this is about Napoleon now, but I guess we will see. Again, I'm just not sure where I'm going to put this, but you know, historical fiction about the Napoleonic Wars. I'm actually, let me think. I think that I'm going to change my process halfway through. I am going to go through the books, and then maybe themes will emerge when I have more of them together. So I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker. I have this historical fiction book called Doc by Mary Doria Russell. Again, it's another writer that I feel like is for me. And this is about Doc Holliday. So it's a Western, but focusing on Doc Holliday. The Persian Boy by Mary Renault. I started this, I read about half of this. And then I kind of lost the plot. And I think it's because I kept on picking it up and putting it down and spending a lot of time away from the book and not really getting myself fully invested. And this is, it's really focusing on Alexander the Great, but from the perspective of the Persian boy, Bagaeos, who is a eunuch and also, I think, becomes Alexander's lover, but mostly focusing on Alexander the Great. All right, then I have My Name is Asher Lev by Chaim Pollack. And this is about Asher Lev, who is living in a Hasidic Jewish community and is really driven to be an artist. And of course the community is not very accepting of that thought or of that ambition. I think actually for the time, this is set in contemporary times. I don't think it's set years and years and years ago. So I think this is again misfiled and it should be under my like contemporary fiction reads. I think it's again set very close to the year that the this is the year that it was written. So I'm actually going to set this aside because it really should go somewhere else. Okay, I have City of Thieves by David Benioff. During the Nazis' brutal siege of Leningrad, Lev Benioff is arrested for looting and thrown into the same cell as a handsome deserter named Kolya. Instead of being executed, Lev and Kolya are given a shot at saving their own lives by complying with an outrageous directive. Secure a dozen eggs for a powerful Soviet colonel to use in his daughter's wedding cake. Interesting. Okay, wow, okay, that was, the back of that book is very charming. I really like books about food, so, but yeah, anyways, this is World War II, another World War II book. At least I have that theme going on. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is, let's think. I think this focuses mostly on Patroclus and Achilles and their relationship. So okay, I'm figuring it out, y'all. I'm figuring it out. Okay, so let's see. I have The Gathering by Anne Enright. I've read another Anne Enright book, Actress, and I really liked it. And this is the winner of the Booker Prize in 2007. So a dazzling writer of international stature. Okay, blah, 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 about Anne Enright. Now she delivers The Gathering, a moving, provocative portrait of a large Irish family haunted by the past. The 9 surviving children of the Hegarty clan are gathering in Dublin for a wake of their wayward brother, Liam, who drowned in the sea. His sister, Veronica collects the body and keeps the dead man company, guarding the secret she shares with him, something that happened in their grandmother's house in the winter of 1968. As Enright traces the line of betrayal and redemption through these 3 generations, she shows how memories warp and secrets fester. Okay, so Ireland of course my camera cut off, so Ireland in the 1960s. This is harder than I thought, organizing historical fiction books into any kind of groupings. Okay, I have Amor Towles, Rules of Civility. This is, of course, Olive at a book, Olive's very favorite book of all time, and I bought it because of her. So it says, on the last night of 1937, 25-year-old Katie Content is in a second-rate Greenwich Village jazz bar when Tinker Gray, handsome banker, happens to sit at the neighboring table. This chance encounter and its startling consequences propel her on a year-long journey toward the upper echelons of New York society. Echelons? Yeah. Where she will have little to rely upon other than branching wit and her own cool nerve. 1937. About surviving the Depression era. I have Pearl S. Buck's The Good Earth. This is a novel of pre-revolutionary China. Again, I don't know. The Revolution of Mariana M. This is about, the Russian Revolution. The Russian Revolution. Did I have any other books about the Russian Revolution? I do not think I do. Okay, well, we're just gonna, what do I have? World War II? Who knows? I have Sarah Waters' The Paying Guests. I'm just gonna put it with my other Sarah Waters books because that is what makes sense to me. So we'll do that. I have Anne Patchett's The Dutch House, which maybe I should just organize these by author. At the end of the Second World War, World War II. Got it. All right, The Matrix by Lauren Groff, one that I really should have read a long time ago. Set in 1158. I think we're in an abbey. So, we're just gonna, this is set a long time ago. And we're gonna just set this aside because I don't know where it's gonna go. Okay, we have Baldino by Umberto Eco, and this is set April 1204, Constantinople and the Byzantine Empire. Weirdly, I mean, 1204 and, The Matrix being set in, what was it, 1138? 1158. These are only 50 years apart. Maybe they go together. So I also have Baltazar and Blumunda by Jose Saramago, This is set in 1711 in Lisbon, Portugal. Doesn't go with anything else. Oscar and Lucinda by Peter Carey. 19th Century Australia. The Corrections by Jonathan Franzen. Multi-generational family saga set over 50 years. I'm seeing that I actually have a lot of books set in the US and that are, you know, so I have, you know, Freedom, a Commonwealth, and Rules of Civility, because this is set in, yeah, Greenwich Village Jazz Bar, so in the US. So I have these three. I think those go together. Vikram Seth's A Suitable Boy, which is about, I think, 19th century India, a love story. Yeah, oh, set in the early 1950s. I was a little off there. But this is set in India. Maybe I should think about place. The Sixth Wife, this is a Tudor book. This is by Susanna Dunn. So I do know that this is a Tudor book. Do I have any other Tudor books here? No. Fall on Your Knees by Anne Marie MacDonald. This is set in Nova Scotia. And I really don't know when it was set though. A long time ago, before you were born. Maybe I won't be organizing very much. Who knows? I don't know anymore. I'm losing faith in the project. Cutting for Stone by Abraham Verghese, and this is historical fiction set in India for sure. So I mean, at least it goes with Vikram Seth. I know that for sure. The Book of Form and Emptiness. I don't even know if this is considered historical fiction. It's probably not actually, from what I know about this book. Boy says. Maybe I just set it there because I just didn't know where to put it, and so that's where I put it. Okay, I'm gonna refile this under contemporary reads. My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. It says it's a contemporary Gothic tale, so I think I'm going to refile this under classics. Then I have The Street Sweeper by Elliot Perlman. This is World War II veteran. It looks like it's about a Holocaust survivor and the civil rights movement, and yeah, a prominent Jewish civil rights lawyer, his late father's closest friend, a retired civil rights lawyer and World War II veteran. So I'm actually going to, I know this is not necessarily World War II fiction by any stretch of the imagination, but this is like touching on post-World War II fiction. So I think I'm actually going to put that under my other World War II fiction books because I think it actually kind of ties in with that and it makes sense to me. Oh, you see no more books behind me? That's because you were mistaken a little bit. I have, I mean, you're not mistaken. I have more books. I have more historical fiction books. So yeah, we're just gonna go grab them. Okay, I have Through a Glass Darkly, and this is 18th century, yeah, this is 18th century, like 18th century France, Through a Glass Darkly by Carleen Cohen. So I have this, French Court. Maybe I'll have like a global pile. Okay, Sun and Splendor by Sharon K. Penman. This is The Plantagenets, so it could go with my Tudor British England bookness. The God of Small Things. I actually don't know for sure if this is historical fiction. I know a lot of you have read this out there. This is narrative set in India, so it'll go with Verghese and Vikram Seth. And then Rodham, this is by Curtis Settenfield, and this is the story of Hillary Rodham Clinton and sort of a retelling, a reimagining of what it would be like if she didn't marry Bill Clinton. So again, this is it's like alternative history, science fiction, but we're gonna go with it. Okay, let me see what I end up doing over here. All right, 3 classics that go somewhere else. I'm gonna set them in this pile over here. Okay, actually, I think I cracked the code. So it's mostly gonna be either time period or place. So for example, I'll do this rather quickly. So I have this set of books this is set in England, you know, so this stack of books is set in England, and that's where they're gonna be. This is like English historical fiction. This stack of books is all about the Americas, so it'll go right next to England. I have a small stack of books set in India, so I'll put that on top here. I have quite a few books set in France, or have the backdrop. Actually, the Matrix, I'm not sure. The main character is from France, but she might be in England. but I'm actually not sure, but that was the tip-off. So we have those who's are born in France or from France or set in the backdrop of the French court or something like that. So I'll put that next to the Americas. And then I have World War II related books here. I'm going to put that on top of the Americas. Ancient retellings here. Actually, I'm going to put my French books on top of the World War II books. And then this stack of books, the best this stack of books, the best I could do was a global look, because we have something set in the Russian Revolution, we have something that's set Byzantine Rome, so we have Italy, a book set in Nova Scotia, Canada, Ireland, Australia in the 19th century, and pre-revolution China. So pre-revolutionary China. And so this is just like random, and maybe I'll figure out a different way to store them, but that's what I have so far. Okay, so that's it. That was actually a lot harder than I thought, but quite fun. It's always kind of neat to dig into my collection in a deeper way, in a way that helps me get to know it a little bit better. And that's always really, I like that kind of thing. So I don't mind that it was a little bit of a brain twister thing that I had to figure out. So let me know. Have you read any of these books? Are there any that have stuck out to you? I'm definitely interested now, especially in the Lauren Groff book, because I think she's come out with another book recently. I don't know. I'm excited about it all around. So that's it from me. I'm going to sit back in the center. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for coming along with me in this process. I really appreciate it. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye. The way the 3 stacks look as of the finishing of my reorganization. That was quite fun.